In this video, I'm going to show you how to program the GD&T characteristics on mill part 2 with GD&T. I'll put the drawing on the screen here. It's similar to a part in a previous video I made, but let's dive right in. What I've got on the screen here is the alignment already done. We've got plane 1, which is the top of the part, and two 2D lines defining datums B and C. The first thing I want to do here is go in and rename those features to make it a little bit easier after we start adding more features. So to rename a feature, I'm going to right click and rename. And I'm just going to call it A. So that's the plane on the top. I'm going to highlight 2D line 2. That's going to be datum. And then finally datum C. Okay. Especially with longer programs, it's a really good idea to name all of your features. So after we've got those named, I want to go in and change the strategy. I just took a couple of points, but whenever we're checking for a flatness or orientation tolerance, we're going to need more than just a handful of points. For flatness, you're checking form, so you want to make sure you have a pretty good coverage of the surface to make sure there's no high or low points that'll throw off your flatness reading. Imagine if you put the part on a plate with a dial indicator, you kind of want that kind of effect with the CMM. With orientation, it's the same idea. You're checking for flatness and you're checking that it's oriented to another feature. You want to make sure there's no high or low points that might knock the part out of alignment if you put it on a plate with angle blocks. So to do that, I'm going to double click datum A. I'm going to go to the strategy and I'm going to delete all the probing points I started with. The reason being, I can't see any of the holes because I haven't probed them yet and I'm not using a CAD model. So what I want to do here, I'm just going to add some polylines. So I'm going to start at the corner of the part. I'm going to take a point and I'm going to go to this corner of the part. I'm going to move back up. I'm going to select these 2 points, hold down Shift, and I'm going to go to this key right here, the one with the little dots. That's going to convert those 2 points into a polyline. So I'm going to hit OK. So I've got my first polyline. I'm not going to worry about anything here with the number of points. We're going to change those all at the same time from a different screen. So I hit OK. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the part. And I just want to make sure the machine is going to take the fastest way between the 2 points, right? It won't take any detours to avoid, obstacles in its way. So make sure you tell it the right way to go. So I've got these 2 points. I'm going to select them, convert to a polyline. I'm going to hit OK here, and I'll take one more going through the middle of the part. So this is kind of a diagonal polyline. Again, it's going to take the shortest distance between these 2 points, so it should avoid these 2 holes closest to this line. For the purposes of this course, 3 polylines is good enough. If you're checking a real part, you probably want some more coverage of that surface. And hit OK. So now I'm going to go to 2D line 1. I'm going to go to strategy. And I'm going to select up here the line Autopath. So it's going to create a path between the 2 points I've already taken. I actually don't need those 2 points anymore, so I'm going to delete them. Yeah, hit OK and hit OK here. Now, if you want to check to make sure that this stuff is going to work or not hit anything like a clamp, I can always right click and then go to execute because I've already got my alignment and my clearance planes done. That's why I always recommend you do that first. That way when you're writing the program, you can go through and step through and check each feature individually. You might not have to check every feature, but some features you might be a little less sure about, and you want to go ahead and run that so you don't find it later on. So we've got B taken care of. I'm going to go to C and do the same thing, add an Autopath get rid of these two probing points. And I did that just by selecting them and hitting the delete key. And we're gonna hit OK here. So that's good enough for now, and at least good enough for this course. Now, I'm gonna add my geometric characteristics. So we're gonna do a flatness and 2 orientations to get started. I'm gonna go to Form and Location, Flatness. My Characteristics tab pops up automatically. Double-click Flatness. I'm gonna select the feature, which is datum A. I'm gonna hit OK, and enter in the tolerance from the drawing, which is 2 thousandths. And that's all there is to a flatness measurement. Now, this actual is going to change when we run the program, because when I took the points for the alignment, I only had 5 points. Now we have polylines with a lot of points. So that's going to change in one way or the other. Hit OK. Form and location, we're going to do our perpendicularity. So I'm going to select this, double click. Now this requires basically 3 items: the tolerance, the feature, and then the datum reference. So for datum B, the tolerance is going to be 3 thousandths. The feature, since we already labeled it, pretty straightforward to pick, it's datum B or B. And then the primary datum is datum A. And then that's all we need. There is no secondary datum with the first perpendicularity attached to datum B. We're going to hit OK here. Now what we can do, I could go to Form and Location and select it again, or I can do Control-C, Control-V, and just copy it. And it's automatically going to enumerate it from 1 to 2. And then I can go in here and just change the feature being controlled to datum C. And then the primary datum stays the same, but the secondary datum is now going to be datum B. So the perpendicularity applied to datum C, perpendicular to A, and in rotation to B. And that's all there is to that. So we've handled our datum reference frame, which is important. You probably want to knock that out first, just like you would at a plate. If any of those features are like way off, it might not be worth going through and doing the full inspection. I might have to go back for rework. Now, we're going to want to get these circles. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here and start taking points so we can get the position of these circles. So I'm going to go in my part here. I'm going to do the F11 Macro with the holes this small, or really any hole, I guess. And make sure you're really in the center of the hole to get the best results from the F11 Macro. So drop the probe into the hole, hit F11. I'm going to hit return on my keyboard. It'll go in and take 4 points and give us a circle. I'm going to hit OK here. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the nominals. Now this first circle is explicit on the drawing. So the X is 0.5 and the Y is 1.75. The diameter should be 2.5. And we can go ahead and add the tolerance in for the diameter. Now we're not going to report the X and the Y. That's going to get covered by the position tolerance we apply in just a little bit. But you do want to fix the nominals because the position is going to rely on those nominals. When we start using CAD models, you don't have to do this, but using a real part, you've got to fix the nominals to get the correct position tolerance. I'm going to hit OK there. Circle 1 is good. I'm going to go to the next one. F11 Macro. I'm going to hit OK. We're going to fix the nominals again. Now, with this drawing, you're going to have to do a little bit of trig for some of these holes. It's not explicit on the drawing what the X and the Y's are. But for the purposes of position tolerance, X and Y means the same thing as the angle and the basic bolt hole circle. The reason being is that the tolerance zone for this position is round, right? It's a cylindrical tolerance zone. So if it's basic, it doesn't matter whether they're coordinate dimensions or polar dimensions. It's easier in Calypso to just use the coordinate dimensions. You can trig the locations in X and Y of these holes out, or you can draw it up in a CAD program and get it that way by inputting the polar dimensions. Either way you want to do it. So we're going to fix this. With the diameter, I'm going to fix the nominal, and then I'm going to go to tolerance and last input, and it'll remember the last tolerance we put in. I'm going to hit OK there. We're going to take one more circle here. These are all about the same. We're going to do F11, hit return. We're going to hit OK. Now this one is going to be a little different. You will have had to have done the trig. I know that it's 0.9375. And then I know the Y is 2.5078. We're going to report the diameter, fix the nominal, and the tolerance is still last input. It will remember that for you. So we got 3 circles. All the other circles work the same way as this. You just keep going around. Now we want to apply the position. So I'm going to drive my probe out of the part. I'm going to go to Form and Location, Position, double click. So we're going to select the feature. We'll do circle 1 first. We're going to enter in the tolerance, which is 7 thousandths. If you notice right here, it remembers the nominal position from when we entered it in at the feature. So it's easy just to fix it at the feature so it's good in the characteristic. Now, this feature control frame indicates that it applies at MMC. Now we're going to go to our primary datum here. This is going to be A, secondary datum is B, tertiary datum is C. Now the next thing we want to do is this drop down, we're going to save this datum reference frame. I'm going to call it A, B, C. That way, next time we do a position tolerance, we just load that up, and I'll show you in 1 second. So I'm going to hit OK here. We're happy with that. I'm going to do the next position, and actually just Control C, Control V, copy that, double click. In this case, we're going to be looking at circle 2. And then everything else stays the same. Now, if we did go up here to position, double click, right now we're all blank. We can go to feature, circle 3. We have to fix all this information. So the copy and paste is a real time saver. But what I want to show you is in this drop down, you can load the datum reference frame and it'll remember that ABC we just saved. So when you're dealing with a bunch of different kinds of characteristics, this is helpful. Hit OK, and it loads it right up. To get accurate results with Calypso, you have to tell it which datums you're using. You can't just use the base alignment. Okay, so that's for position, profile, anything that uses datum references. Oh, I'm happy with that. So let's go ahead and run this program and see what kind of data we get. I'm going to go to Run, Clear. I'm going to check Clear Existing Results. I'm going to let it run its alignment. And if you notice, it's going to go ahead and do those poly lines. In just a minute, I'll show you how to adjust the speed. It's kind of cooking right now. So there we got a report. This is a 3D printed part, so there is going to be a good bit of variation, but nothing out by more than a few thousandths. Let me talk real quick. If you notice, this was really zipping along. Now Zeiss publishes something called the Cookbook, which has all the information about the speeds and the number of points you need to take for different features. It's copyrighted. I can't, put it up on the screen for you. Maybe in a later video, I'll tell you what the input should be. But what I want to show you here, assume if you have one of these machines to practice with, you've got a Cookbook laying around. What I want to show you is how to make the changes to all the features at once instead of having to go in individually. So I'm going to exit out of my report. I'm going to go to the Measurements tab, Measurement Plan Editor Features, and I want to go to Strategy, and then Speed. And then this shows me the speed for all of the polylines I have. You can't change the speed for taking points, because it just goes in and takes the point. But I can change the speed for any of these. So I could slow it down to 50 thousandths. I could speed this up to 1 inch, whatever I want to do. And then you can also change them all at once. So I could change them all to a quarter. So that's how you change all the speeds at once or individually. Another handy thing is the number of points. So, 17 points for like a 2-inch long polyline probably isn't enough. So I could go in and change all of these to take 200 points. And that's just going to give us more data, which is certainly necessary for something like flatness. This is a really handy tool to use to go in and see all the strategies for all of your features in your program instead of looking at them individually. That's it for this video. Mill Part 2 with some GD&T characteristics. I'll be coming out with another video on another one of these parts. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, leave a comment down below.